أهلا وسهلا فيكم جميعا. أول شيء نتمنى رمضان كريم لكل اللبنانية، وإن شاء الله يكون ختام هالمرحلة الصعبة والغريبة اللي عم نعيشها بلبنان. هلا نحن طلعنا لايف أول مرة، واجهتنا مشكلة تقنية، هلا عم نرجع نطلع بهذا الفيديو اللي فيه جوابات الأستاذ جلال محمود اللي كان ضيفنا. اليوم نحن عم نطلق فكرة الأونلاين ديزاين توك، لأنه بعتقد لازم يكون في محل على السوشيال ميديا يكون يعطي كونتنت، يكون في كونتنت مضمون ثقافي وهندسه بشكل خاص للمهندسين. تنحكي فيه، نستفيد من بعض، يمكن نتعلم اشياء جديده. ما عم نفوت اليوم بتكنيكاليتيز كبيره، نحن عم نحكي اليوم عن موضوع وات اباوت تومورو. اليوم في كذا صفحه عم تنقل معنا، وندعي كل المهندسين من كل الفروع، كل الصفحات، كل الانتماءات كثفوا نشاطاتهم الهندسيه على السوشيال ميديا للكل يستفيد، ونكون عم نعطي شيء لمجتمعنا الكبير ومجتمعنا الصغير كمهندسين. ما في حدا افضل من استاذ جلال محمود نبلش معه. اليوم الحديث وات اباوت تومورو نسبه لسيتويشن الكورونا والكوفيد 19 اللي عم نعيش فيها. لنعرف عن استاذ جلال. he's a Lebanese architect of Egyptian and English origins. Jalal Mahmoud spent many years in Paris after fleeing the Lebanese Civil War with his family in 1976. Today, his office, GM Architect, has successfully left a mark on a wide array of countries, including Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Sultanate of Oman, France, Greece, Turkey, Senegal, and Morocco. هلا رح نبلش دايركتلي قبل ما نسال الاسئله للاستاذ. ليش شويه اسئله برزنتيشن صغيره حضرتها بس شو الاسئله اللي نحن عم نطرحها على حالنا، وخاصه كاركتكت وكانتيريور ديزاينر او urban planner or whatever. نعمل شير سكرين. بلشت بسؤال انا بجمله انا بحبها لنورمان فوستر. Sir Norman Foster, as an architect, you design for the present with an awareness of the future, which is essentially unknown. اوكي، رح نعمل هلا رح فرجيكم بس برزنتيشن صغيره بتلخص شوي الاسئله اللي نحن عم نسالها، اللي بلشنا ليش قلنا اول ديزاين توك لازم يكون عم يحكي عن هذا الموضوع خاصه بهذه الظروف. رح نبلش بجمله لسير نورمان فوستر. As an architect, you design for the present with awareness of the future, which is essentially unknown. واللي هي الانسرتينتي اللي يمكن عم نعيشها نحن شوي هلا حاليا. What about tomorrow? This is the question. وخاصة فتنا على two sectors اليوم اللي هن الاركتكتشر والانتيريور ديزاين post COVID-19. What is going to happen next? How our lives as architect and interior designer in particular will change after COVID-19. في ناس عم بيكونوا كثير pessimistic، في ناس عم بيكونوا optimistic، في ناس in between. في ناس عم بتقول are we getting close to an end? The end, or it is just an episode. But the sure thing that life after COVID-19 will never be the same as before. Our values will change. Our habits will change. Our homes, working space, social environment will also change. But why discussing architecture and interior design? Being all in the self-isolation, the hashtag staying home, social distancing means that we are actually using our homes, reinventing our workspace, rethinking even our hospital functions, thus reassessing all architectural and interior design decisions we have maybe taken in the past. But it is the first time, is it the first time we face an epidemic that may affect architecture, interior, and urban design? The answer is no. In the 1800 Haussmann renovation of Paris was due to three cholera epidemics. And it was commissioned by the Emperor Napoleon III. London 3 times, New York twice has changed and has been developed due to this epidemic by the end of the 19th centuries. Bottom line, we'll be asking Mr. Jalal, should we rethink the housing, our homes? Should we rethink the workplace concept? What about hospitality? Will it change forever? This is the questions that will be asked to Mr. Jalal right now.
Let me start again, just to so we don't cut the line of thoughts. As I was saying previously, architect essential role is to provide a solution to a problem. That's number one. And number two, with the same importance, is to provide human being with a better life and an environment that allows them to have a positive and enlightening lifestyle. Okay, this is the essence of the architect. I mean, before, when humankind first started, they didn't need architects. People used to build their own houses by themselves based on common sense and based on the needs at that time. The architect came in to try and rethink that model and make it better, more functional, more efficient, etc. So if you go to that, today we are facing a challenge, which is this virus and how it has affected us. It has affected us both on a macro level and on a micro level. It has affected humankind, it has affected the way we live, it has affected the planet in every aspect of it. And if we start with the home itself, because now we have been forced to be confined, but still we still need to run our business, or we still need to go on working and sustain a certain minimum lifestyle and working environment, we had to reorganize ourselves within our homes. Hence the importance today of a house. Before the virus, people would just come home, eat, sleep, eventually entertain once in a while, and that's it. So basically, if you have 100 square meters or 50 square meters or 200 square meters, you're just using them for I would say a third or maximum half the time of a day. Today, you're using it practically 24 hours a day. So this definitely has an impact on the house. And if we think it properly, transforming this problem into a solution could also make our life better. Because why not working at home? My personal experience for the past 6 weeks, or now close to 8 weeks, is that working at home hasn't been so bad after all. From a performance point of view, and also from a quality of life point of view. My colleagues who've been working, well, we weren't prepared.
Most of us were not prepared to work from home.
Yes, but there's two things that happens when you're confined, and the main problem was organize your space. Okay. Unfortunately, in most countries today, we are more and more compressed into small living spaces. I'm talking mostly about city living. Today, the cost of square meters in a city is extremely high. So we are developers, mostly developers, because of the cost of construction and the cost of purchasing land has become so high, they are squeezing apartments to a point that makes them unlivable. So I think today the role of the architect is to take back his role and act as a instigator and not just as a spectator, act as an actor in this process. It is true that square meters have become scarce, square meters have become expensive, the cost of construction has become expensive, but the architect's role is to go to a developer and say there are solutions to that. It's not just by reducing square meters that you will solve that problem. Of course, a developer is here to make money, but he's also here to give quality space to his future owners. And unfortunately, for the past 10, 15 years, the architect's role or word or input has been completely annihilated by business and by business models and by financial models, where now today the architect's role is just, just design a nice facade, we'll put it in a brochure, and people will buy it and they won't care. Well, today they do care, because people who have been forced to live in 50 square meters or 60 square meters with families, where children which have to continue schooling from house, the couple have to continue working from their house, has created major problems within the fabric of society. So I think today developers have to go back to architect and give them more leeway for them to think how to, and maybe it's not 60 square meters, maybe it's 80 square meters that is needed to provide the comfort and the sanity of space to a family, you see? So that's why I think
in a way it's good news for the architects.
Sorry?
In a way, we have to see the positive side of this period, this COVID-19.
Well, I see the positive side of it. I definitely see the positive side of it. And I definitely see that the architects have a big role in this new game changer. This virus has not only, it will affect of how we live directly by the virus itself, but it has also awakened us on problems that were latent, that maybe people did not see before, that now are apparent in how we live, how we work, how we go to work, how we travel, etc. I mean, there's many subjects. Before, as a global, architects have become global, and people have become global, and businesses have become global. Before the virus, you would, hop on a plane for nothing. You have a meeting, okay, I'll take a plane and come over. Well, taking a plane has a lot of impact, negative impact. It pollutes the sky. It tires your body, because you go up to 30,000 feet, then you go down, then you have to sleep somewhere outside your home, go to a meeting, come back. You don't even visit the country you go into, go back, work. Sometimes you do it weekends, etc., etc. And now we found out that actually we can do our meetings, and they could be as productive as we're doing one right now over Zoom or over GoToMeeting or whatever. The web provides us as a platform to exchange ideas and to work. So I think on the long run, definitely people will think differently, not because of the virus directly itself, but the repercussion or the ripple effect of it on how we think we should live, work, travel, entertain, etc. And to go back to the house, creating a space within your house where you can work and focus and concentrate has become a new priority. Yes. Okay, how do you organize that in 80 square meters where you have a family of 4, you see? How can you organize your kids' room where they could sit in their room and work, although they have rooms which are 9 square meters, you see? So there is a big role for architects today to try and convince future developers that quality of space, well-being is a priority. It's not just about buying an apartment in a good neighborhood, or it's about many, many things. Space itself, how we live in a space, is extremely important. And this is something that we've always given a lot of importance at GM Architects. And that's why I wanted also to talk about interior design and architecture, because they're all, I mean, you cannot deal with one without thinking of the other, and vice versa. And it's not a one-way street. It's not you start by doing architecture to interior design. You run both studies in parallel, because each one can have an impact on the other. And it has to be a transparent, and it has to be an ongoing work in process way of dealing with the problem until you come to the ideal solution. Sometimes the shape of a building is dictated of how you treat the space inside, and not vice versa. I mean, those are basic architectural. We learn this at school, but unfortunately we tend to forget about it as we move into life.
Of course. If we want to move, the main problem we face in our homes is the workplace. So what about the working place, our workplace? Should it be also, we should rethink about it, to be rethinked? Should be changing the concept of the offices, of the...
Well, there's again here, there's many subjects that need to be tackled at the same time. There's the financial, there is the environment, and there's the performance. Up till the virus, everything was about open space, informal space, and everything definitely in a working environment. Create close contact between people, so they can interact and so can exchange, and so they can be productive and creative. And this, I mean, if you go into the new office spaces, the latest office spaces of today compared to those of 5 years ago, they're completely different. Where the people encourage, or the way they're designed is to encourage contact and interaction, and also to give as much, and to give exactly transparencies, open space, etc. Well, now with the virus, I'm not saying that this is gone, because there are ways to keep the transparencies and the open spaces, and already people are thinking of how to organize it. But I think the most important part of the workplace is that, do we really need to have, I mean, I'm thinking this way as well. Do I really need to have an office of 400 square meters where everyone within my team is present every day from 9 to 6? You know, California has encouraged work at home for many, many years now. Hence, they haven't been as much affected by the virus as New York. Because when people were asked to stay home and work at home, well, they were already staying at home and working at home, you see. So today, as a business owners, and when I talk to people who have companies and all that, they are definitely rethink of how much space they really need. Because here again, there's an economical factor. And when you scan around your employees or your team or your freelance people who work for you, you will find out that maybe some of them are happy to work from home. Others no. Others want to change, want to come at the office, want to have that feeling of working in a professional environment. So I don't have actual answers today, but the fact that just questioning that is good, because it allows, here again, for a better quality of life. Because someone who works from home maybe will be able to spend more time with his family, will be closer to his family, so he's giving quality time to his kids. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he won't be using his car, so less traffic, less pollution, less waste of time on the roads, etc. So I think we have to stay very open and very flexible in how we tackle this. The solutions are many, and they will, I mean, we have to be like chameleon, constantly evolving and being aware of those changes and see how best to benefit from them in terms of quality of life. Because I always go back to the quality of life. We have lost that notion in the past. It has been a rat race where you have to work 12 hours, 14 hours a day. You have to travel. If you don't travel 5 times a month, it means you're not successful. If you're not, meeting 20 people a day, you're not, we have established rules of how a business is successful by artificial means. And we forgot about ourselves and how do we want to live and how do we want to sustain a healthy mind and body.
The good thing about the human nature is that we are programmed to adapt. So I think it will not be that hard. If I want to finish with, I think, the sector that you like the most, the hospitality sector. Do you think the hospitality sector, in terms of us as architects and interior designers and engineers, will change, or the sector itself will change?
there, you have to put this in a calendar. Facing the virus, today, hotels have to reopen. They cannot stay closed, because then you're talking about hundreds and hundreds and thousands of employees and companies that will go bust, and us with them. They have to open. So here, they have to establish protocols of how to greet clients, all while protecting their clients and their staff. And I'm sure, and already a lot of people are thinking, and I'm sure all the big hotel chains have already put in place think tanks of how best to be able to greet a customer, make him feel safe, and allowing them to continue their business. Of course, business will not be as before, because I think for the time being, people will travel less. Although China has proved the contrary, because when you look at numbers in China, they're ramping up their travel, and they're getting close to numbers of what they were before the pandemic. But China is a completely different environment. But I think on the short run, definitively there will be a change. I mean, it's like after 9/11. After 9/11, before we used to go to in and out of airports like you're going into a shopping mall, in and out of a shopping mall. Today, when you travel, it has completely changed. I mean, look at how airports have changed to be able to screen you, to check that to check your luggages. Everything has changed. So I assume that airports will have to deal with it. And the solutions are not, I mean, it's not rocket science. They'll find it, and they will be able to implement it quite quickly. And hotels will do the same. On the long run, though, I don't think it will dramatically change the way we think hotels, because a hotel is a hotel after all. Once we get rid of the virus, people will go back to traveling, and go back to traveling for work or traveling for leisure, and will still expect what we expect today of a hotel. Of course, the cashless, contactless approach to hotels has already started even before the virus. I mean, a lot of chains now, you can check in on your phone. Your phone can open the door of your room.
The smart systems.
The smart systems are already in place, and if they're not, they're already been thought of. My only worry is, where is humanity in all of this? When you say hotel, you say hospitality. Hospitality means hospitable. It means that you want to be welcomed, you see. And if you're welcomed by softwares and smart systems and machines, I don't know. I don't know. We go back to a completely cold and humanless environment, which I'm not very comfortable with. But that's
a strange world.
That's another. This is. I mean, we can't turn around that. This is going to happen. But in terms of tourism, I mean, talking to all my friends who are hotel owners in countries, or mainly boutique hotel owners, I'm sure that local tourism now in the near future will be very positive, because people, even if people can travel today, to travel, if you have to travel, for you to go to Greece or to go to any country for leisure, if you have to go through 100 screening and fill forms and go and do testing and eventually be quarantined once you get to the country, you say, why the hassle? I'll wait a year. You know, it's not a big deal. But you still want to have a good time, so you'll look within your country, and you'll start, you know, discovering your country, and go check what your country has to offer. So local tourism by country will definitely take a very positive impact from that. And this is something good for Lebanon and all the mess we are right now. And this has been, I mean, there's a lot of this industry has been quite developed for the past few years, and it will allow them to hopefully survive this crisis by this flux of local tourists in the coming summer.
We surely hope so, especially for Lebanon. We need everything positive.
Anything can help us. Anything can help us in the way we are.
Mr. Jalal, last word for the architects and engineers and interior designers that are watching us. Any last words for for the situation that we are living?
I would just say this pandemic, this situation, this major planetary crisis is a game changer for architects, or maybe an awakening for architects and designers. I'm not saying no one does have.
Hopefully
has not
for
done
clients
it already,
as well and developers.
Yeah, but the architects have to educate their clients and developers. It's their role to educate them and to awaken them to the problems. Architects should not compromise. They are here to provide solutions, and they are here to provide a state of well-being to their future user, whether it's a house, a hotel, a shop, whatever. This is the essence of our role, is to make people have a better life. And now is the time to do it, and now it's even more important because people will come out of this virus, even those who weren't caught by the sickness will come out traumatized, and they will need psychological support. And by creating proper spaces where they feel good, will help them go past or go beyond this this tremendous shock that we've all been through.
I surely hope so. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you.
And hopefully we'll be seeing you later on other subjects. And thank you. Merci.
Yalla, take care. Take care to all of you.
Yeah, bye-bye.